Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're exploring a book that offers a pretty direct path to understanding happiness and inner freedom, too.
hmm
It's called Happiness is Free, and it's easier than you think. And it draws heavily from the teachings of, well, this guy, Lester Levenson.
hmm
We're talking about a philosophy that really challenges almost everything we've been taught about finding joy.
It really does.
Think of it as a kind of radical shortcut to figuring out what happiness truly is
Yeah.
and just how accessible it might be.
And what's really compelling here is how the author, Hale Dwoskin, lays out Lester Levenson's insights. I mean, Lester was someone who, really against all odds, seemed to unlock a profound truth about happiness.
Right.
So our mission today is to distill this material, maybe uncover some surprising bits, and help you grasp these core ideas: self-realization, inner freedom, that sort of thing.
Exactly. And Lester's journey wasn't just some abstract idea. It was like deeply personal,
Yeah.
rooted in his own desperate search. So what does this all mean for you? How might you actually use these insights? Let's dive in.
Okay, so to really get Lester's breakthrough, we kind of need to know where he started. He was an engineer, right? Knew how to build things.
Yeah.
Tell us about his life before this big realization hit him.
Well, Lester was incredibly successful as an engineer. Worked across something like 14 different fields.
13. Wow.
Yeah, electrical, construction, marine, you name it. He built various businesses, always striving, to make it in the world, financially speaking.
hmm
But despite all that success and even doing various trainings, yoga, Tai Chi, EST, all sorts, he felt this deep incompleteness. He really longed for answers to the big questions. What's my purpose? What is truth? Who am I really?
So it wasn't just like a philosophical itch he was scratching. There was something more urgent driving this.
Oh, absolutely. By 1952, his health was, well, it was terrible. Diagnosed with perforated ulcers, a serious heart condition.
Yeah. Doctors basically told him he could drop dead any minute. So he was facing this intense fear, dying, or maybe being crippled for life.
That sounds terrifying.
It pushed him to a kind of desperate point. He decided, either I get the answers or I'll take me off this earth. He was serious. He even had morphine from his doctors, just in case.
Wow. Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting. What happened? What was the breakthrough?
His big insight came when he was reflecting really deeply on his past relationships, especially love affairs. He started to feel that the closest he'd ever gotten to real happiness was, well, it was love.
Love itself.
Yeah. He noticed that when he was loving, genuinely loving, that's when he felt the highest. And this led to what he called a tremendous realization, a just tremendous feeling of freedom.
And he talks about a physical change like right away. How did that actually happen?
Instantly, he said he suddenly saw his body, from his chin down to his toes, as just perfect. He knew it was perfect.
Knew it.
Yes. He felt the lesions, the adhesions from the ulcers were just undone. Everything inside him was running perfectly. And apparently, medically, it checked out later.
That's incredible.
This discovery that his happiness literally equated to his loving it spontaneously changed his physical state.
So it wasn't just about feeling emotionally better. It was about seeing something fundamental about limitations.
Exactly. Precisely. He saw so clearly that the only limitations I had were the ones that I accepted.
Ah,
He realized, wait, I'm not this limited body. I'm not this mind with all its hang-ups, and he basically just undid them. He declared, I am not it. Finished. Done. Period. That's it.
that's such a powerful declaration. So this gets us to the core message then. If limitations are just accepted ideas, what did he figure out about happiness, about who we really are?
Lester discovered that happiness isn't something you find or get from outside. It's what you are. It's your very own self, your beingness, he called it.
Beingness, like our
Yeah.
fundamental nature.
Exactly. Our most basic inherent nature is infinite joy, peace, perfection. It's always there, unbothered by the limitations we think we have. We're always connected to this infinite beingness, but we kind of becloud the view, as he put it, by buying into limiting ideas and always looking outside ourselves for answers.
Okay, that's a huge idea. If we are happiness, why do we spend so much time not feeling happy? What's blocking it?
Well, according to Lester, the main culprits are the ego and the mind.
Right.
And the ego, for him, wasn't about being arrogant. It was just that core feeling of being separate,
Yeah.
I am me, an individual, separate from everything else, from the all.
Yeah.
And when we feel separate, we automatically feel like something's missing, like there's a lack.
Which makes us try to get things.
Exactly. We try to get back those missing parts, which just starts this whole downward spiral of seeking and wanting.
And the mind's role in this is pretty central then.
Oh, absolutely. The mind is described as nothing but the sum total collection of all thoughts. It's the source of all our perceived limitations.
All of them.
Levinson was pretty clear. Every little thing that happens to each and every one of us is created in our thinking. Our thoughts actually materialize in the physical world.
Wow.
So his conclusion was, if you don't like what's happening out there, all we have to do is change our consciousness, and the world out there changes for us.
So you're saying the external world it's like a mirror, a projection of what's inside.
That's pretty much it. The book literally says, the world as you now see it is really an imagination. It calls it a dream, a fiction in your mind.
Like a night dream.
Exactly like that. Feels totally real while you're in it, right?
Yeah.
But when you wake up, you realize none of it actually happened. Levinson suggests we can do the same thing with our waking life. Awaken from this dream called the waking state. See it as a kind of fiction, let it go, and then, boom, you find the infinite you.
Okay, but this brings up a big question for a lot of people, I think. If our thoughts create reality, what about problems? What about bad stuff happening? Are we creating that too?
Well, from Lester's perspective, trying to get rid of a problem is holding on to it.
Huh. How does that work?
Anything you resist, anything you try to push away, you're actually keeping it active in your mind, giving it energy.
Okay.
So the only way to actually correct a problem, he said, is to just let go of it. Stop focusing on the problem itself. Instead, see only what you want, focus on the desired outcome.
That's a huge shift. Okay, so what does it actually mean then to be happiness instead of always seeking it? What's the practical difference day to day?
Yeah, good question. He observed that what most people call happiness is often just, well, escape from pain.
Like distractions.
Right. Socializing, entertainment, chasing achievements. It gives temporary relief from uncomfortable thoughts, but it's not the real deal. True happiness, he discovered, is just our natural state. It's inherent.
Yeah.
You find it by letting go of depending on external stuff and just being joy, rather than trying to enjoy things. See the difference?
I think so. Enjoying things implies a separation.
Exactly. I am enjoying this. It creates a duality, puts a limit on your natural state, which he called all joy. The funny thing is, the more you actually feel happy, the more you're tapping into your real self. We just usually get it wrong and think it's because of the thing, the person, the situation.
Instead of realizing it was always there within us.
Precisely.
Okay, it's a powerful idea.
Yeah.
Happiness is who we are, mind and ego get in the way. But how do we actually do it? How do we practice this? What are the tools the book gives us to let go?
Right, the practical side. The core method is called holistic releasing. You might also know it as letting go or the Sedona Method.
Sedona Method. Okay, I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's pretty well known now. It's described basically as a do-it-yourself way to free yourself from unwanted patterns, behaviors, thoughts, feelings, the whole lot.
And how does it work? Are there specific techniques?
Yes. The book breaks it down into 3 main ways to practice letting go. First, there's simply choosing to drop it. Just making a conscious decision right here, right now, to let go of whatever feeling or thought you're holding on to.
Just decide.
Just decide. Sounds simple, maybe too simple, but that's one way. Second is allowing it to be.
Allowing it.
Yeah, welcoming whatever is present in the moment.
Yeah.
Not fighting it, not judging it, just seeing it like, say, clouds drifting through the sky. They're there, they pass, they don't need fixing.
Okay, sort of like acceptance.
A very active kind of acceptance, yes. And the third way is diving into the core.
Diving into the core of the feeling.
Right, when you actually lean into the very center of any feeling, lean right into it, Lester found you discover it's actually, well, empty inside or full of goodness. It's not full of the darkness or awfulness we usually assume is lurking there.
That's counterintuitive. We usually run from difficult feelings.
Exactly. And he's saying go right into it and you'll find freedom there.
Wow. Okay. The book also mentions working with polarities. How does that fit in?
Yeah, that's a key part of holistic releasing. The idea is that everything we experience shows up in pairs, in polarities.
Like good, bad, happy, sad.
Right. Right, wrong, pain, pleasure, all of it. The technique involves consciously going back and forth between the 2 sides of a polarity in your mind.
How does that help?
Lester discovered that by doing this, the 2 opposing poles actually start to dissolve each other. They cancel each other out, in a way. And this leads to greater and greater freedom and presence. It helps you see the unity underneath the apparent duality.
Interesting. It sounds so simple when you explain it, but I bet it's not always easy in the moment.
Well, the source compares it to flipping a light switch. You don't need to understand electricity to get the light right.
True.
The advice is to lead with your heart, not your mind. If you get tangled up trying to figure it out intellectually, the trick is to just let go of the wanting to figure it out.
Let go of needing to understand it first.
Exactly. And your ability gets better with practice. The key thing is, whenever you recognize you're caught in something, you can always release right now.
Okay. But what about those really deep habits? Those desires that feel like they're just part of us?
The ingrained stuff. Lester acknowledges that the subconscious mind holds like thousands of thoughts of limitations, stuff we've picked up over years.
Yeah.
To really overcome those, he said you need a very strong desire for freedom. A desire that's stronger than wanting the world's approval or wanting control or wanting pleasure.
Stronger than other desires.
Yes. And here's where it gets really radical. He says, desire leads only to misery and death. He saw karma not as some cosmic judge, but as a direct result of our past desires. A strong desire creates a kind of energetic vacuum in the mind.
Vacuum.
Yeah, and nature, the universe, whatever you want to call it, rushes in to fill that vacuum, bringing experiences that match the desire. So if you constantly desire wealth, you might attract experiences related to wealth, maybe getting it, maybe losing it, maybe struggling for it.
So karma is desire-driven.
According to Lester, yes.
Yeah.
So to undo karma, you have to undo desire mentally, let go of the wanting. And he summed it up really simply. There's one act that will do away with all karma. Be yourself.
Be yourself.
When you realize who you truly are, beyond desire, beyond the mind, you just rise above the whole karma game.
It's a fascinating framework. Now, the book also talks about gurus and masters.
Yeah.
What's their role if this is ultimately a do-it-yourself path?
Right. A master in this teaching is someone who is fully realized. They know their true self. A guru is a master who actively helps others find that same freedom. They're seen as being one with God, one with the self. And while having a living teacher who has actually realized this state is considered the greatest of all aids because they have a kind of power to help others wake up the path itself, is still fundamentally do it yourself.
So the teacher helps, but you still have to walk the path.
Exactly. And interestingly, Lester developed the Sedona Method partly to take himself out of the teaching loop. He wanted people to know they could find this truth on their own without needing him or any external teacher forever.
That's quite humble, actually. It also touches on Christ consciousness, which might surprise some people. How does that fit into this?
Yeah, the book explains that Christ isn't just the historical person, Jesus. It's the title Jesus earned when he attained this state of Christ consciousness.
The state of consciousness.
Right. And Jesus is seen as a way shower. He attained this state, proved immortality through resurrection, and basically showed us the potential path. So the second coming of the Christ, in this view, isn't necessarily Jesus returning physically. It's when we individually attain that same Christ consciousness.
It's an internal event.
Exactly. The encouragement is to believe as Jesus believed, meaning embody that state of being, not just believe in Jesus as an external figure, and also to be open to help from masters who are seen as omnipresent, always available.
So it's very much about inner transformation. What are some other key ways the book suggests for cultivating this inner awareness?
Self-inquiry is huge. Asking yourself those deep questions. Who and what am I? And then, if I am more than that, what am I?
Questions the mind can't really answer.
Precisely. Levinson said the thinking mind, being limited, can't grasp the answer. The answer comes from beyond the mind, from what he called the realm of knowingness, the realm of omniscience. And the way to access that is by quieting the thoughts.
Which brings us to meditation.
Absolutely. Meditation in this context is described very simply. Purely, simply, and wholly to quiet the mind until it's totally quiet.
Just quiet the mind.
Yeah. Every single thought is seen as a kind of veil, covering up our infinite beingness. When you remove all the veils, all the thoughts, there's nothing left but our infinite beingness. The ultimate state is this no-thought state, an all-quiet state, which paradoxically is also all knowledge.
No thoughts equals all knowledge. That's fascinating. How does this high-level stuff translate down into our messy everyday lives, our jobs, our families?
Great question. Levinson taught that every single experience is an opportunity for growth. We should use attitude and action in our daily life for growth all the time.
So don't separate spiritual practice from daily life.
Not at all. And he pointed out that often the biggest tests and therefore the biggest opportunities are right at home with your immediate family.
Yeah, that resonates.
Even challenges like opposition from others can be a very healthy thing because it provokes and firms growth. It forces you to choose your state. The goal through all of it is developing selfless love and realizing that love is effortless, whereas hate requires much effort.
That effortlessness again. And givingness is tied into this love, right?
Oh, completely. Givingness is presented as the absolute key to all happiness. More important even than giving material things. It's the spirit of givingness that brings the joy.
Giving without expecting anything back.
Exactly. When you give from the heart, no strings attached, the giver is actually most blessed. And this love, this givingness, should ideally expand to include everyone equally, even people you consider enemies or just strangers on the street.
Why everyone?
Because underneath it all, Lester believed every human being is basically an extremely loving individual. That's our core nature.
That's a profoundly optimistic view. Okay, the book also lays out some stages of growth. Can you walk us through those? What's the progression?
Yeah, he described a kind of ladder of consciousness, moving from inaction up towards pure beingness. There are 5 main stages he identified.
Okay.
Stage 1 is apathy, just inaction driven by hopelessness, resentment, fear. It's subjectively destructive. You feel bad, you do nothing.
Got it.
Stage 2 is apathetic doingness. Here, you start taking action, but it's still largely destructive or misguided. Interestingly, Lester felt the world in his time was mostly in this stage. He saw things like social unrest, war, delinquency problems, yes, but actually as progress, a step forward from total apathy. At least people were doing something.
Huh. Okay, stage 3.
Doingness. This is where action is more balanced, kind of equally constructive and destructive. A lot of typical human activity might fall here.
Right.
Stage 4 is doingness, beingness. Now the action becomes primarily energetic and all constructive. You're actively making a positive impact.
Getting closer.
And stage 5 is beingness. This is the highest state. It looks like inaction again, but this time it's inaction due to serenity. You just be, you witness, you watch, you allow, you accept the world exactly as it is. And in this state, there's no effort because your unlimited self doesn't require effort.
From apathy to effortless beingness, it really does seem like the whole journey is about changing who you think you are.
That's exactly it. It's realizing you are not the limited body-mind you assumed you were. You are the infinite, omnipresent self. The book even suggests an exercise. Consciously feel yourself as the body with all its aches and problems. Then, just as consciously disidentify, declare, I am the changeless self, unaffected by the body.
Practice shifting identification.
Yeah. The more you do it, the more you start to recognize the body as just a picture in mind, not your fundamental reality.
And if you really get this, if you live from that self, life becomes, well, effortless, miraculous even.
That's the description. When you're truly in tune, in harmony, it's said that every atom in the universe moves to fulfill your thought. You just sort of float through things and there will be no effort.
Wow.
He called it the feeling of God in operation. And things we call miracles like his own healing story, or even accounts of things like teleportation or just the dream world affected immediately. Totally natural for someone fully realized.
Wow, this has been quite the journey. This deep dive into Lester Levenson's work really flipped a lot of conventional thinking on its head. How our inner world creates the outer, and how simple, maybe, the path to real happiness could be.
It really does. And if you connect it to the bigger picture, it suggests that all are chasing, all are wanting things out there. It's mostly just trying to fill a hole we think we have. When according to this, we're already the all. We're already whole. So there's no real giving up anything on this path. It's more like taking on more and more of who you truly are, your infinite self.
So for you listening right now, what really stands out from all this? From these powerful, maybe challenging ideas from Lester Levenson?
Yeah, it leaves us with a really potent question to ponder, doesn't it? If happiness is truly your inherent nature right now, and limitations are just concepts you've maybe unknowingly accepted, what's just one single thought, one belief, maybe one feeling that you could choose to simply let go of right now, just to see what happens, just to reveal a little more of that infinite joy that's already you?
Something to sit with. Thank you for joining us on The Deep Dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep discovering.